Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Literary Criticism and Theory. Today, we are moving on to Chapter 2, Aristotle. We are beginning with Aristotle's observations on tragedy. Aristotle's observations on tragedy are divided into 6 parts. They are its origin, that is, the origin of tragedy, its characteristics of tragedy, the constituent parts of tragedy, the structure of the plot of tragedy, simple and complex plot, and tragic hero. So these are the 6 elements of tragedy that Aristotle makes observations on. Let us move into each part separately. Before going directly to Aristotle's definition of tragedy, let us see what tragedy is in general. So, this is only for your understanding. If you are asked the definition of tragedy for your examinations, you are expected to give Aristotle's definition. This is just for your understanding. As you are familiar, tragedy is a serious type of drama which presents the sorrowful, meaning sad or terrible events faced by a heroic individual. In his book Poetics, Aristotle defines tragedy and evaluate various elements of it. When discussing characteristics of tragedy, that is the second part, we will discuss Aristotle's definition. The students are expected to by heart the definition given by Aristotle. It is very important. Now, let us see about the origin of tragedy. Its origin. Poetry being an imitative art, it can imitate 2 kinds of actions. So, when we studied Plato, we have seen that Plato observed art as imitation. Poetry is an art, so poetry is an imitative art. Not only poetry, painting, drama, all these are coming under the category of imitative art. So, poetry being an imitative art, it can imitate 2 kinds of actions. What are the 2 kinds of actions? One, noble actions of good men. Noble means good actions of good deeds of good men. 2, bad actions of bad men. These are the 2 things that poetry can imitate. Aristotle says that from the former means noble actions of good men, from the former epic originated, and from latter, the second one, satire originated. Thus, so I have rewritten it here like this: noble actions of good men gives, from which epic originated, and bad actions of bad men gives, from which satire originated. Then, epic originated from from epic originated tragedy, and from satire originated comedy. So again, it is rewritten like this: From noble actions of good men, epic originated. Then from epic, tragedy originated. Similarly, bad actions of bad men gave rise to satire, and from satire, comedy originated. See, hope you understood that. As epic and tragedy originated based on imitations of good deeds of good men, they are considered superior to satire and comedy. See, we human beings consider good actions of good men as greater. So, naturally, uh, epic and tragedy, as they originated from good actions of good men, they are considered superior. While satire and comedy originated from bad actions of bad men, so they are considered inferior compared to the other. And now, if you are considering epic and tragedy between each other, Aristotle says that tragedy is superior to epic. The reason is that tragedy has additional elements like music and spectacle. Epic is meant to be read, tragedy is meant to be staged. So, if you consider epic and evaluate epic and tragedy together, tragedy is superior. So, these are the elements that we discuss under the origin. Please remember what it is given in this particular box. That is, from noble actions of good men, epic originated. From epic, tragedy originated. From bad actions of bad men, satire originated. From satire, comedy originated. So that is what you should remember. Then coming to characteristics of tragedy. First of all, Aristotle provides a definition of tragedy. It is given in this box. Tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude. In language embellished with each kind of artistic ornament, the several kinds being found in separate parts of the play, in the form of action, not of narrative, through pity and fear, effecting the proper purgation of these emotions. This definition can be explained in detail. We have seen that all art is imitation. Tragedy is an art form. So that explains tragedy is an imitation of an action. What kind of action? Action that is serious, complete, and of a certain magnitude. What does tragedy imitate? Tragedy imitates an action that is serious. By serious action, Aristotle means a tale of a story of suffering, exciting, pity, and fear. All human activities come under action, including human deeds, thoughts, and feelings. This story should be complete in itself. Complete means it should have a beginning, middle, and an end. Beginning means audience should not be told anything before in order to understand it. Story should start like without any without creating any doubts in the mind of the audience. Audience should not be told anything more to be, should not be explained anything more. Then magnitude, it should have a certain size. It should not be too short or too long. So tragedy should have a desired length. It should not be too small or it should not be too long. Then in language embellished with artistic ornament. See, tragedy is written in poetic language. Rhythm, harmony, and song. These elements are part of a tragedy. These elements serves as artistic ornament. These elements should be there in separate parts of the play. They are meant for enriching the language of the play. So, by this particular phrase, that is, in language embellished with artistic ornament, Aristotle means that the tragedy should be written in a language which serves as artistic ornament. What are actually artistic ornaments? Rhythm, harmony, and song. These should be present in separate parts of the play. It will enrich the language of the play. Then, in the form of action, not narrative. Unlike epic, tragedy is in the form of action, not narrative. Tragedy is meant to be staged, meant to be presented on the stage, not to be read. So that is the meaning of in the form of action, not narrative. And finally, purgation by exciting pity and fear. Purgation, finally, it should be able to create purgation of excess emotions by exciting pity and fear. So Aristotle's theory is that by watching the tragedy of the characters, the excess emotion stored in the mind of the audience, it will be washing out. This process is called catharsis, the process by which the excess emotion stored in the mind of the audience is being washed out. Purgation, washing out. So these, let us go back to the definition once again. Tragedy is an imitation of an action that is serious. Serious means a tale of suffering, exciting pity and fear, complete. It should have a beginning, middle, and end, and of a certain magnitude. It should have a required size, not too less or not too long. It should be written in a language embellished with each kind of artistic ornament, that is, rhythm, harmony, song, etc. They should be present in separate parts of the play, and it should be in the form of action and not in the form of narrative to be read. It is to be meant to be presented on stage, and through pity and fear, it should excite pity and fear in the mind of the audience, which should result in the purgation of washing out of the emotions, excess emotions. So this definition should be by hearted, and they are separately explained later. You can pause the video, note it down. Then we are coming to the constituent parts of tragedy. This is in fact not fourth one, third one. Constituent parts of tragedy. So Aristotle says that according to Aristotle, there are 6 constituent parts in tragedy. One is plot, character, thought, diction, uh, song, spectacle. They are separately explained. Plot means arrangements of incidents, events in the drama. Plot is most important. Plot is the most important element of tragedy. It is considered as the soul of tragedy. Plot should be a complete whole, which means it should have a beginning, middle, and an end that we have already discussed. Then a tragedy should have characters in it. According to Aristotle, plot is more important than character. He says that there could be a tragedy without a character, but never without a plot. Character, he says, determines men's qualities. It is by their actions that they are happy or the reverse. So, this means there should be characters in the tragedy. It is through the characters that the plot is being presented. However, Aristotle is of the opinion that plot is more important than character. So it is by these characters that we identify the emotions in it, emotions in the drama. Then thought and diction. Thought means what a character thinks or feels. Diction means the language used. The thought of the characters is expressed through their speech, and hence there is an intimate relation between thought and diction. So they are complementary to each other. The thoughts are expressed by means of diction. Diction is the vehicle through which thought finds expression. Then song and spectacle. Song and spectacle are parts of stage equipments. Grand makeup and costumes are used by actors for spectacular effects. So, spectacle means actually it is meant for presentation. So, the makeup, costumes, etc., such features add to the spectacle of it. Tragic characters usually wore a particular kind of boots to appear taller. Then, song is the musical related element, that is, mode of entertainment added to tragedy. So, these are the first three parts of first three parts of tragedy. First one, its origin. Second one, its characteristics. Third, the constituent parts. So we are stopping here for a while. We will examine the rest in the next class. Thank you.